Alvin Kamara allegedly punched a man 8 times, and apparently the video backs it up because they obviously have video of it. He's probably guilty when the statement from the attorneys is this. Alvin Kamara has gained a well-deserved reputation for being a hardworking, community-minded individual. The recent Las Vegas allegations are not consistent with who he has shown himself to be in public and private life. Therefore, we are conducting our own investigation into all circumstances and individuals associated with this matter to determine the facts and motivations of all involved. I shouldn't say probably guilty. What I should say is the video probably speaks for itself when these guys are like, look, you're going to see the video. Maybe the video's out. I'm not sure. I haven't seen it. TMZ will have it soon if it's not. But, hey, man, this is the guy said some stuff, whatever. But that is the situation with Alvin Kamara, arrested at Allegiant Stadium. Is that correct?
I think he had gotten in trouble. I mean, the incident happened the night before, and I think the police were waiting for him at Allegiant Stadium. I had read
after the game,
whether he either in the locker room or when he was coming out.
Yeah, it actually says, sorry, Kamara taken into custody Sunday afternoon at Allegiant Stadium. So after cops say he brutally beat a man inside a Las Vegas Boulevard hotel around 6 a.m. Saturday morning. Wow, not taking the Pro Bowl seriously.
Well, 6 a.m. What time was kickoff? Noon?
A broken orbital among the injuries.
So this guy got the shit kicked out of him.
Will this be the last post-game arrest at Allegiant Stadium?
Yeah, because a lot of times they get arrested on site. You know, I mean, maybe Alvin was so fast he's fucking out of there. Like, where is he? He's like, the guy's gone. It's like back to his suite. It's like, is he in the elevator? He's like, up
got a game.
He's like, Sean Payton worked on this.
Everyone's like, got it. You know, I thought guys were mailing in the Pro Bowl, but Alvin was here 5 hours early getting treatment.
Yeah. The Patriot guys taking over this organization. Think about some of the guys. Damon Arnett, of all the Raiders that have gotten in trouble, was the only shithead. And when I say that, I mean the only guy with major red flags that I know teams that didn't have him on the board. Henry Ruggs was not a character guy. He was positively vouched for at Alabama. And they will be negative on guys. Like I think there were some questions on Leatherwood. Not on Henry Ruggs. Not on really any of the 4 guys. The receivers. Vegas is taking down guys left and right. I mean, it's taken down countless Raiders, right? Ruggs, Arnett, who you could say Arnett might have been taken down.
I mean, he's been cut. He was cut again by, was it Denver?
The Chiefs. City. But what's his name? Nelson, who was in the parking lot. Like, that is something. One thing with Vegas that I think only parallels it really is Miami. But even Vegas, I was listening to Rosillo, who
Nate Hobbs
did a day trip to Vegas, and I thought he did a good job of describing it. It's one of the only places in America where you just kind of let everything go, and you can kind of be the person that like you always dream about being with 0 repercussions. And I think when you factor in, just because there are just really no rules, time. I think the scariest thing is like if I'm Josh McDaniels and Ziegler. When you get a player, time is irrelevant in Vegas, right? Like if I'm playing for the 49ers or I'm playing in Los Angeles and I live in Santa Clara, like there's not something that I can just get into at 4 a.m.
There's last call.
Yeah, they're just, the lights are off. In Vegas, there just is no time. And I also think that's going to happen with these guys, even if you're in Boston or whatever, and I want Gronk to host a party for me. It'll be at a bar or whatever, but like, consistently in Vegas, one thing they're known for is people promoting the event, right? And it's usually at a club or a big fucking, surrounding alcohol. And the number one group of people I'd want moving forward are just going to be the NFL players, right? So how do you draft? I think I was telling you this the other day. Like the players they've had over the last decade in New England. Let's just pick 3 of them. Welker, Gronk, and Julian. To me, if you had put those guys at 22, 23, 24 years old in Vegas, it's not out of the realm of possibility that one of them got arrested. And I'm not saying for the Ruggs situation. I'm just saying at a club, get into a fight. So I think it's a huge I don't even know how quite to describe it. It's like the boogeyman. It's like, but there's nothing tangible you can really do besides trying to get the right guys. But there's just a human element to it that, like, even if you like, what do you think Julian Edelman and Gronk? You're like, I'd want those guys on my team. I'd want to go to war with them. They're also humans. They like having a good time. I mean, they always partied. Like they would at 23, 24.
You are a
like,
target, right? Now these
you're a target,
situations
and you're just naturally like,
are
why
not those,
wouldn't you
but-
go out to some of these places? They want you there. They're paying for you to go.
Yeah.
Would you have a policy? You know, I don't even legally could tell them no, but I think it's going to be very challenging.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times, and it happened with them, it happens with Miami more in basketball than in football, right? Because in football, it's the road team is a factor in sports where you stay multiple nights. Like basketball, you come in a day early, you have an off night, and the game is the next night at 7 p.m. In baseball, you're in town for 4 or 5 days at a time. The road team in football is less susceptible than the home team is because the road team isn't there that long.
In that athletic article, I think I read a highlight. I don't know if it was the article that you keep talking about. They asked guys about like the worst places to go on road trips. And one guy was like, you don't even notice it. You just, in terms of the cities, he's like, we just get there the day before when we play and we leave.
Oh, yeah. That was where Buffalo, and that's the one I told you where the guy described Buffalo as Green Bay without charm.
But kind of just saying, like, we're not like basketball and baseball here. We're a road trip. We're there to play a football game. We don't go out, you know?
Yeah,
There's
like
no downtime.
Who is Miami a risk for a road team?
No.
In basketball, yes, right?
But I'm just saying in football, it's
or
not.
New York. New York is a great example. New York for basketball versus football, like big difference.
I think L.A., Scottsdale. I mean, there's a lot of places in basketball that take, you know, it's like,
Yeah, you really, it's hard. It's like the only, where isn't it a challenge? But football, it's the home team. It's the home team that spends all the time in a market, right? Friday night, what time does it? Team's not there on Friday night when the home team is. The road team's not there yet.
No. It's why the Super Bowl's kind of a big deal, right? Because you're there for a week. Most teams are both out of town. You're like,
the beauty of the Rams. It's the beauty of the Rams. If the Raiders host the Super Bowl, they're going to have an advantage.
Big time. Do we need to worry about them hosting the Super Bowl though anytime soon?
I mean,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Raider fans.
This guy, man. So it's, and I don't know. I mean, do you put an extra emphasis on that type of stuff in the draft? To your point, you know, you could end up in those positions anyway. The irony is the Raiders felt like they had put an emphasis on that in the draft, right?
Well, you would say the two guys that are now running the Raiders come from a place where that is emphasized. Football being important, character important. But my point is, 3 of their best players over the last decade could have easily fell victim to this, especially Julian and Gronk. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility that you just get into an altercation. Now, you could be like, well, it could have happened to them anywhere. Yeah, it can. It's just more likely in Vegas. It's pretty clear. Fucking Kamara's, think of where he plays in the NFL. 0 issues. New Orleans. Vegas, boom, something happens. Now, part of it is like, now you can say that on Bourbon Street, it's late too, but just club 6 a.m., like 6 a.m. or 5 p.m., it just does not matter in Las Vegas. And boom, Kamara, I mean, I would imagine, you know, probably pay this guy off or whatever, but he probably gets suspended a couple games for this, right?
Yeah. What time of day by hour sees the most fights and the least fights? Like, you know, 1 a.m. might, if we did like a bar graph, you know, like the most fights occur at 11:30 p.m. I mean, 6 a.m. has to be one of the lowest occurrences of fights.
Well, because everyone's close. Yeah, I'd say it'd be like 10:45 to 1:15 a.m. would be the range, I'd say.
Of the most fight. Like when the bar just goes way out.
I would say the least amount would just be like breakfast spots at 8 a.m., right?
Yeah, I mean, you could get some Sunday brunch arguments at like 11:30.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.